Hi, this is Terry with yarcoach.com. Hey, all of y'all who've been with me through this series that we're just starting, 20 days of 20 opportunities for 2020. We've already talked about perception and we've talked about boundaries, which are so important in moving forward into life, but into this next 20 days because of the things we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about balance. I had a friend who lost his big toe to a farming accident, and he was really surprised that it affected his balance so much. And I was too. I'm like, you got 9 other toes and you just lost one. But I realized the importance of that in my own life when in 2009, that winter, I was living in the Pacific Northwest. It was a really hard winter because I had just left my marriage of 25 years to like my best friend and confidant. My kids were grown. Everything that I had wrapped my identity around was gone away. Plus, I was just sad. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was a bit at sea, to be honest. So I decided to get into the sun and take a trip to Jamaica for a yoga retreat. And my daughter sweetly said, Mom, I'm going to go with you. You're not in any shape to really go by yourself. She was very kind. So we went to Jamaica and we went on a yoga retreat. And every morning we were led in yoga by a French woman called Finette. And Finette was the first yoga teacher who explained really the need for balance and the need for your toes for balance. What she'd say every morning before we got started is, please make sure your feet are flat on the ground, which I'd heard a lot in yoga, feel your feet on the ground. But she'd say, spread out your toes and make sure they're each on a point that's going to give you balance. Every day she was very sure that's how we started. Stretch out your toes. And it made me realize, what a difference that made. So today, if you're in a place right now in the next few seconds, if you could just stand up and notice how your body is intelligently giving you balance. If you're able to stand up, your body is giving you balance. It's using your toes, it's using your muscles, it's using everything. You know why? Because you've been practicing that since before you were a year old. Most of us were picking up and standing up and learning how to walk. Okay, you can sit down now, but we've been practicing balancing, so we don't really think of it, unless you've lost your balance along the way due to physical ailments. But most of us, you stand up, you get your balance, and you move on. So you have to practice balancing emotionally as well. And that can't happen externally. You can't, just like when you stand up, you can't ask someone to get your balance for you. You just do it. Emotionally, it's the same way. You cannot get emotional balance from outside of yourself. It has to come from within. And look, you've been practicing physical balance for a long time. So my guess is most of us aren't really taught to practice emotional balance. And here's one way to realize if you're out of balance. If you find yourself huffing, puffing, sighing, rushing, that's one way to realize that I'm not in balance. Others helped me find my balance along the way. Very uneasily, I walked toward balance. In books, I found a lot of help along the way from people writing their own stories and their own suggestions. So if you find that you're huffing and puffing a lot or you're rushing is being in a hurry is a very good indicator of being out of balance. So if the obstacle for us today is being off kilter because we're rushing, anytime we're rushing, we can pretty much be sure that we're out of balance. Then the opportunity here is to slow down. And that may seem counter to everything you have going on in your life. I understand. Everything you have going on. But for today, I would ask you just for today, if that's all you can do, is do not hurry. Do not rush. Breathing is important. Breathing is important to establish oxygen to our brains. It's important for peace of mind. It's really, when you think about it, down to the last analysis, it's our only obligation. It's the only thing we really have to do in this world is breathe. So if you're feeling off kilter, if you're rushing, if you're sighing, if you're huffing and puffing, you're off kilter. And to gain that balance, your first step toward balance is to slow down. Thomas More, who's, the spiritual writer and psychologist and all that, former monk, he says that the ordinary acts we practice every day at home are of more importance to the soul than their simplicity might suggest. And what is more simplistic than breathing? What is more simple than slowing down? So today, day 3 in our 2020 series here on Your Coach is slow down. Be mindful. Anytime you go to rush, take a breath and slow down. That's all. Notice when you're rushing and slow down. And I'm going to see you right back here tomorrow, because we're going to need all these things we're laying a basis for are going to become apparent to you as we move forth into this series. See you later. Bye for now.